Good morning, it's Michelle here from Launceston Property Investor Advocate. It's a beautiful day here in Launceston, and fortunately we have a local public holiday, which is great. So I'll certainly be taking the opportunity to have a bit of a relax today, ready to recharge for tomorrow. But before I do that, I wanted to, while it's fresh in my mind, I wanted to connect today to tell a story about a conversation that I had with a client yesterday, because I feel like it's very relevant to a lot of Launceston investors out there. So the conversation with a client from At Home Property, which is my other business, was around the possibility of selling their investment property. And the reason why they had contacted me at that point is that they had noticed the unit next door go up for sale, the price was attractive, and of course that was enough to motivate them to consider selling the property. So the conversation that I had with that client was around the reason why they were considering selling their investment property, how long they'd held the investment property, and the motivation was around obviously price, and also the fact that they'd had opinions from friends, well-meaning friends, that potentially our market was at the peak and it was time to get out of this market. So I guess no one has a crystal ball around what's going to happen in any property market. But what I can say is, being in the investment market here locally for quite some time, is that Tassie seems to have a much smoother market, where we do have peaks and troughs, but we don't have the big booms and big busts that you see in a lot of the capital cities. So please don't be too concerned about the fact that we are at our peak and next week we might be at the bottom of our market, because I personally don't see that happening. I'm not giving financial advice here. This is from experience and looking back at the history of our market. So please do your research around that first. Secondly, the other important element here was that the client was looking to sell an investment property here and repurchase a property in Queensland where they currently live. So the question that I had was, have you considered the implications of capital gains tax? Another thing that they were not aware of, or didn't think that they would be exposed to. So those that are not familiar with capital gains tax, of course, it's the profit that you're making from your investment property. So the gains that you have had since the purchase of the property, and the implications of what that means with your income tax for that particular financial year. So certainly get some advice from a financial advisor or accountant around what that tax might look like for you, and what those out costs might be. So consider that. And the other consideration was repurchasing into the market again. What does that look like? What is that average property market? You will be looking at another stamp duty. So there are all of these hidden costs in those transactions that you should consider when you're selling one investment property to buy another. So that led into the conversation of equity. And the client, again, was not familiar with the term equity, which of course means that the difference between what you paid for the property and what you owe on the property versus what it's now worth. So it's money on paper that you can potentially use as leverage to purchase another property. So again, talk to your financial advisor or a mortgage broker around what equity you have and whether or not you can use that equity to repurchase another investment property. I believe that's a much smarter strategy for a property investor, unless they absolutely have to sell one property and there is a reason why they feel that there is a better opportunity in another market. So we did talk through all of those things, and the client was, I guess, very happy about having all the information they needed to make the right decision. So I guess my message in that is, please don't knee-jerk and sell your investment property for the wrong reasons, because it could cost you a whole lot more than you planned. And if I can help you in looking at all of those options, please feel welcome to get in touch. I'd love to connect. This is what I do, and I am very passionate about trying to help investors maintain their investment strategy long term and build, financial freedom and self-retirement. That's what we're all looking for. So please get in touch. Love to talk to you. Michelle here from Launceston Property Investor Advocate. Have a fantastic afternoon.